morning, Shelpers. Thank you for joining me for more Vampire Crawlers. I have not done any grinding off stream, so we'll see how this goes. Do we have any money to buy something? We have a little bit. Any money to buy anything good? Prob not. We could do more coins per rank, maybe. Yes, and that's all we have the money for. So we're gonna take our girl Pugnala back out into the world. And once we cast her into exile into the wilderness, this is the bridge that I'm going to be doing today, but I might have the library yet to do, and I also have Berserk Wood, and it's the same difficulty as the bridge. So we're going to take a whack at that and see how it treats us today. I hope you all had a marvelous weekend. Hang on, it's Friday, not Monday. I'm so dumb. Are going to have a marvelous weekend. There you go. Fixed it like a pro. I don't have any plans. I don't think. I'm not sure how today's stream is gonna go. I might be a little bit melancholy. I'm not entirely sure like what's gonna pop out of my mouth today, because yesterday was like my mom's like birthday, and she would have been 70, and that's been hard for me. My grandma got sick like years before she turned 70. So yeah, you don't want to hear it. You're here for the games. I get that. I honor it. Husby's gonna do a live balance for me. I'll check, because he's just that sweet. Okay, thank you. We might actually do one more stream of Zombie Army 4 next week, and when we get done with the regular game, we might go into the horde mode just to like see what it's like and mess around with it a while. So for those of you who want Zombie Army 4, you're not gonna have to like wait till we drip feed you the rest. So I'm not sure how you'll take that. Hopefully good. All right. For fun mana on play. Turns. Okay, coin. Okay, it burns coins. When a card kills an enemy or earns coins, I should say. We're gonna put it on number 2. 3, I might want to decrease in mana or something, so. Okay, let's go back over this way. I got a couple of interesting books from the freebie site that are not romances this time, so praise me. No, we'll see how they go. I'm always a bit leery for reasons, but they're free. The only thing I waste is time if they're not any good. Oh good, it's not being guarded. All right, ×2 damage. Now that's something I could really put on my, well, making the one mana card higher up would be good. I really am thinking about doing the Magic the Gathering thing. I just want to see when I crack them back open what they all look like, because I don't want to like bore all of you with that kind of thing. Potentially. Okay, there's the one. See, it took out the line. That's so good. Okay, we're gonna get this going. If I burp, I'm sorry. I feel like I have pressure today. I don't mean to. I drank a couple of cups of cocoa before I got on stream, so you never know. I will try to be the politest turtle. I thought I would warn you instead of just doing it in your face potentially. So last weekend we went out rummaging, like I said. This weekend I don't have plans to my knowledge. Husby could correct me potentially, but I don't think so. Husby did do a stream yesterday with a friend of his, and it seemed to go really well. It was nice to listen to. I'm glad when he gets to hang out with people. I don't really hang out with people online very much, I know that. I should. There are movies and stuff I want to like show people and whatnot, but I just don't for a lot of reasons. I probably should have picked up some armor, but I didn't. It's fine. There is a healing item in the back in case I need it. I heard Scary Movie 6 is like really bad. And I'm like, yeah, I could guess. I could guess. Just the trailers didn't even look appealing to me. Then again, I'm not the kind of person that stuff is usually made for. Like, my older brother and stuff was more like the really bad humor type person. So, nice. Getting up there a little bit at a time. Alright, so we'll take this. And then, okay, we're gonna do the big guns. Let me take the big gun. Because it's not every day we get the gun, so. And that wiped him right out. Alright. The card always benefits from combo. That sounds like a good thing for my 3v. That just does. And we're missing 6 hit points. The roast in the wall recovers 10. So we'll eat that little bitch before we move on. And away we go. Let us dig ourselves in deeper. So I did watch a showcase or two more, but I am still working on the coverage, and my thought is I'm gonna have at least 20 games for you all to go over, and I'm wondering, against everything, whether or not that's enough. Like, do I really go to all these other littler ones just to like see if there's something I would want and then be able to tell you about it, or is like 20 games or so that I want to cover and kind of go over their trailers? Is everybody like, Toluca, that's like more than enough gameplay and enough footage, and you know, I'm already gonna have to like put them into 2 parts as it is? Or since I'm already gonna have to do 2 parts, are you gonna be like, well, since you're already doing multiple parters, you might as well just go all the way? I'm of 2 minds about it, and I would really love to know your opinions on it, because it's hard for me to really decide. And yes, I know I am the streamer, I am the walrus, cuckoo cuckoo, but I really would like your input if it's something that you would want to give. Because my thought on the matter is I could do it, but then I would definitely, I'm gonna do that because it's gonna be destroyed anyway. I would definitely do more footage, but it's going to take me longer the more I do. So if you don't want to wait for the next 10 years for me to give you my thoughts on a video game, you might want me to just stop where I am. But if you don't really care, then I'll just keep on going. I am going to do the horror thing. I decided I wasn't going to, but then it's like, yeah, what if there is something good in horror? Something I really want to cover or really like. And I know one of the last times I talked about it, I really did like synthesize it down to like some really basic stuff. Like, well, it's gonna be either the hiding or it's gonna be like the Resident Evil stuff, and there's nothing in between. And I know horror isn't always that simple. It's just, I don't want to say I've been burned before, but horror is just kind of that way lately. But maybe if I'm watching a whole horror presentation where we get like a bunch of facts about different stuff, maybe it'll be, maybe there's more room for nuance at that point. So I could give it a shot. Just let me know. I know a lot of people probably won't, which is okay. You don't have to tell me anything you don't want to, but I might cover a few other things still. Okay, I only have 2 left. You might as well go with the gun. Let's see what's going on. Well, at least I get money out of those potentially. Oh boy. Well, at least I got a little more of this. He's gonna attack me next turn though, because he's now gesticulating wildly. Back in my day, the Ed Sullivan show actually, and that was before my time, but the Ed Sullivan show actually had Elvis Presley on. And for those of you who are too young to know the Ed Sullivan show, you'd still know who that is. And since he used to like swing his hips a lot, they actually put him on the TV from the waist on up because they didn't want his wildly gesticulating body parts to scandalize the young people or the parents of the young people or whatever. This is back in the days where rock and roll music was the devil and all that, so how times have changed. The devil is now in the Irish step dancing scene. But yeah, it's something what people think will cause pandemonium. I mean, people still blame video games. Oh, those video gamers, they're the reason why everything's going to hell. Okay, what exactly? Because all we do is sit at home and play video games. I know they're like the violent video games, but it's always been like that. It's always been the violent rock music, the violent video games, the violent fucking probably stage plays at one point. Oh my god, my kid watched Othello and now it's like easy there. I realize it gets complicated and people want to like take care of their kids, but like everything is everywhere, I guess. One of the things that always just floored me though was, okay, for people who say they do not know how the hysteria of the Salem witch trials ever got started, I would like to tell you about a little thing called the Satanic Panic of the 1980s. And I've touched on this before when I was talking about this one guy who was like Pokemon Pocket Monster. And he was like talking about how like Mewtwo's 3 fingers were like the triangle of the devil or something. Anyway, just really bizarre stuff. Well, at one point it turns out that there was this psychologist who started this thing where she would do like age regression, but she wasn't just doing age regression with somebody. She also brought the woman false memories. And yes, you can implant false memories in someone if you know how to do it correctly, and that's fucking scary. But anyway, she had false memories going on because this doctor was not just like regressing her and doing hypnotism and stuff like that, but she was implanting fake shit. So here, it's a book called Michelle Remembers, I think, or whatever. And it was about how she had quote unquote memories with her parents being like blood drinking cultists and all kinds of stuff. And this spread because other people were like, well, my kid had seen something at daycare and it was that they were implanting suggestions or worse on these kids. It was wild. It was an absolutely wild time. So when people are like, how could the Salem witch trials go off? They didn't have any proof, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I would like to introduce you to the fact that even in the 1980s, when we should have fucking known better, and not every single thing that happened every single minute of the day was about God, we ended up with that. We ended up with that. It's hard to imagine, really. Okay. Summon all crawlers to hand, increase the luck stat, increase the... I'm gonna catch that out. I know, it could help, but still. But yeah, it's just wild. Also, people use the book Sybil for like DID, and Sybil was something else that had come along in like the 80s, early 90s, something like that. And here, Sybil was not true. The way DID manifests is not that way, and it was wild because now everybody who thinks of like DID, which used to be multiple personality disorder, thinks of Sybil like that, you know, incredibly like blatant switching and all that kind of stuff. And there are a lot of people online on TikTok or whatnot that do like really, how do I put this? There are some people on TikTok that think they have DID and they don't. And I know I'm not a psychologist or anything, but like a fair amount of these people have actually come out and said, I thought I had it, I'm sorry, I watched a lot of content with this. Like all of a sudden they just have, they're fine one day and then the next day they essentially like say they have a bunch of Pokemon in their system. I'm not saying whether Ultras can or cannot be, you know, a personification of something negative, but they would switch right on stream, right on cue. Some person switch like 5-6 times in like 10 minutes. That would be like really fucky for someone, you would think. And I'm not an expert on DID, that is for fuck sure, but I didn't think it was like that, but I could be wrong. So if you happen to have it or whatever, you can correct me, but it does not sound right to me at all. And that was another thing that like Sybil started, where everybody and their dog had DID, and then Hollywood got enamored with DID, and they don't realize that it comes from like a lot of really bad stuff. They just make it look like it's criminal or that it's just a bunch of other things. It's not anything with what they say. You lose track of time. There's like a lot of different stuff that goes into it. Because if you're always like in the process of dissociating, you don't always go to a different personality, I don't think. But you can like really lose track of time. You can have amnesiac events because you don't always remember what happened. So a lot of times it makes it not safe for you to have a job. You know, these kids on TikTok always make it look quirky and cool. It's not for a lot of people. A lot of people fucking hate it. They just don't want to deal with it. They wish they didn't have to. They lose so much of themselves. Another thing that a lot of these kids don't realize is that to get DID probably to happen to you most of the time, as far as I know, I'm not an expert, I'm going to say that again and again and again, but you have to have some type of really, really bad trauma. Like incredibly bad trauma. You don't just have a well-adjusted lifestyle in the suburbs and end up with DID, Diane. That is not how this works. So, yeah. People have sure done a number. I mean, I guess in a way it could be good if you actually took the movie to be, you know, oh, this stuff really happens. Maybe I should look more into it, but they didn't. Okay, attacks and extra damage while card is in your hand, so that means I should put it on my 3B. I did not put it on my 3B because I already used something else. Any health is damage, that's fine. We'll do this one, I guess. Yeah, like I said, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. We're gonna use this gun because that'll give us more money, and we're money whores in this game because money lets us do what we want, like in real life. Okay, I can't use my wand because reasons. That's fine. But yeah, I don't really plan on doing much except probably, hopefully, some of the showcase stuff I owe you all for the weekend. I'm hoping to get part 1 done, but I have to watch, like I said, I want to do the women-led and the horror one. There might be more. I could be wrong. There's probably more out there I should look at. I thought about the accessibility one, but I'm not sure if those are going to be new games as much as they are going to be games that are being shown off again for concept. So, you know, the innovative way. And it's really cool to see a game like blind people can totally play because it's all based on sound and whatnot. It's really cool to see those kind of games. Like The Last of Us, even if you didn't like the story of the second one, or hell, even the first one, there were a lot of accessibility settings put into that game to where you could play it as a blind person. And playing games as a blind person is not fucking easy. So getting it to actually be a game that you can mostly play just by sound had to be a challenge and a half. As far as I know, the team actually did consult actually blind people. So that's good. I approve of that, of course. Because what are you supposed to do otherwise? Like, close your eyes and see if you can play it? Like, a blind person would definitely know better, so. Alright. I've thought about trying out like a game totally to be played blind. Because even though I'm not blind, thankfully, my eyesight is piss poor. So a lot of times I will not have, and I'm starting to get my ass kicked, my whole damn ass. I don't know how we're gonna defeat the bridge if I'm not staying alive here. Ouch. That's okay. We'll just do what we can. Increase hand size by 1. There we go. Yeah, I'm not defeating this one right now. I really need some more mana. And of course some health, but definitely some more mana. Let's see if there's any... Well, there's more protection. And whack this open. Ooh, the burning damage. I love that stuff. Yes, we'll put that on you. So that it, like, does more spread damage. I don't want to fight the big boss yet. Please, please, please. Okay. That's helpful for my other issue. Yeah, that didn't work out as well as I'd hoped, but... Alright. At least nobody's in attack range yet. Spoke too soon on that one, didn't I? Man. But yeah, I wonder sometimes if there were too many games of, like, game presentations this year. Because I can't keep up with them, but then again, it lets people see the stuff. There are so many games that come out every day, and, like, not all of them are offered a stage like that, so it can only help, you know? Even though it's hard for me to keep track. But oh no, horrible, so many games. Like, it's a nice problem to have. Even though, like, pretty soon nobody's gonna be able to fucking afford a game system or an affordable PC because of the RAM issue and all the other fun stuff we've been dealing with. You know, Sony's been trying to get people to convert from PS4 to PS5, and it's like, but why would they? Even people who have a PS5, they've said like their most favorite PS4 has been their PS5. So how is that supposed to instill the, oh yeah, we really want to switch over, that kind of feeling? All books that aren't nonfiction are technically fantasy, even if they're not in the fantasy genre, since it's not real. Actually, that is true. Hi, Shy Guy, how are you? Been missing ya. I've been trying to keep up with your messages, but I know I'm not always the best for that. Sometimes I have my head firmly up my rectum. I feel like I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, but I haven't. I did a video on my personal channel finally, and it was months between, and I'm just like, oh, fuck me. I really hate my disability. Not the cerebral palsy, but like the chronic pain and fatigue really fucking knocks my tits off. Because I really, really, really want to do more videos for people and stuff like that, and here I'm not. That's one of the reasons why I'm worried about doing the video game coverage, because it's gonna be so easy to just have it like muddle over and over and over into like weeks into months, and I'm trying desperately not to have that happen. Okay, 26. Okay, what do you want from me? Oh, 2 of my red ones. No, I don't want to give that to you. Let's try to find some health though. Oh, thank Christ. Thank Christ. Okay, we need to put in a bucket. Here, I'm gonna give you my bracer. That way I can eat. Yes, okay. Now I can face the dawn. Let us go. The power went out from a thunderstorm. Oh my goodness. Indoor temperature 91? No. Okay, so in 2010, 2010, whatever you guys want to call it nowadays, we had what Husby and I referred to as the Romeo and Juliet summer. Okay, I think that was 2010. And that was the year Romeo and Juliet came out. Okay, on DVD, anyway. So, we wanted to see Romeo and Juliet, which of course is just mid-tier. It's not very good. But they made it look good. You know how Hollywood is. So anyway, the day we watched Romeo and Juliet at like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, it was still like over 90 degrees in our apartment. That was before we had air conditioning, and that is so unusual for Wisconsin. And we were so hot. It was so terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Like, I would not recommend, and I can't imagine being in that. Like, nope. I mean, how we have the air conditioner on right fucking now, and it's not. It's like in the 60s outside, I'd say. Our apartment holds on to heat like it owes it money, but or it's in love or something, but still, it's horrendous. Okay, gotta get my little bit of defense going. There we go. Oh yes, the doves. Release the doves. But no, I'm not for that life. You can keep that life. That is horrible life. Oof. Okay, we have one more floor maybe? We'll see when we get there. The map should say 4 of 5 or 4 of 6. I think it says 4 or 5. Don't ask me, I can't always see on this. Okay, there we go. I've been playing the book game, the Bookshop Simulator, and oh my god, I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I'm not sure. I think if I did like multiple parts of that one, everybody would be so fucking bored. So bored. So I'm not going to. But I want to. But I might do like one stream of it just so you can see what it's like. No, don't worry about it. I only respond so I don't forget, but most of the time I'm really slow on the draw as well. I've been having a lot of rough stuff go on. I'm sorry you've been suffering. Anniversary was nice. We played a little Vermintide. We watched a couple of really bad romance movies that aren't worth reporting about because they're not the good kind of bad. And we had tacos and cheesecake, cherry cheesecake. So that was all good. All very nice. We slept a good chunk of it. Right now we're on a really off sleep schedule. Like we had a big nap yesterday, and then I went to bed at like 10 a.m. today, got up at 2. Then I took like a 2-hour nap around like 6 or so, 2.5 hour, just to get up for stream. So I always hate it when I sleep in the middle of the day because I feel like I'm sleeping my life away. but I have such low energy lately. Part of that could be depression, part of that could be I'm in a like a flare for my anti-immune system. My shitty immune system is fucking me again in the asshole. So like my fingers are starting to get worse, my elbow is starting to get worse, my shoulder, etc. And that's on one side, but I have it on like all the different sides because lucky me. So that part sucked, but oh well. Yeah, so let's get the bird up. I like the birds give you cover even though it doesn't help with everything. Okay. There we go. The rows are coming at me. I'm dealing with like a lot of like emotions and negative stuff, and it's been a hard one. Like I said, with my mom's birthday being very, very recently, I think it was yesterday, I didn't really do much. Today I edited and put up that one video on my personal channel, but it's like I have so much other stuff that my brain just wants to shut down around. My brain is like, you want to function right now? Cute. Nope. So just keep on keeping on. That's all I can do. Plus, I've been feeling like a really bad wreck because of the whole like oldest brother situation and feeling like I couldn't help out there. Like, my brain is like, you couldn't even take care of your nephew for the summers. Like, how do you think you can do anything else with your life? And it's kind of true. Like, I don't really do much. I can't. I don't really even go out of the house. Like, I don't know. It's rough. Yeah, that is true. It does pause the pain. You are right about that. But I always look at it as, you know, I'm not getting stuff done, and I know rest isn't something you're supposed to earn. I realize that. But I can't, my brain just goes, you didn't even do anything. Why are you so fucking tired? Well, I'm tired because I'm dealing with a lot of stuff emotionally. I'm tired because I have disabilities that sap my spoons. I'm tired because of a lot of fucking reasons, really. But my brain is always like, you could work harder, you know? Yeah, it's fun. But you deserve rest. Everybody deserves rest. Rest is vital. My brain is just being a shithead because I'm dealing with a lot of different stuff right now. Ooh, somebody must give me something special. I don't usually have that much in the way of mana. Okay, let's put on some protection. The golden condom of yore. All right, there we go. All right. We're making our way. But yeah, I don't have anything else planned until Tuesday. Tuesday is my blood day. I don't really want to go, but I have to. I'm supposed to go every month, and naughty me did not go this last month, so I get a call from the anticoagulant nurse, the blood nurse, and she's like, Toluca? And I'm like, uh-huh. And she's like, you know, I'm calling. I'm like, I have an appointment on the 16th. She's like, okay, good to hear. I'll check it out then. Yeah. I tend to fight myself more, but I definitely get what you're saying there. I have such trouble with myself. Like I said, my brain is like, being able to help out my oldest brother would have been like doing one of the only things in life that actually mattered, because I would have been able to keep them from, let's say, bad situations right now, and I can't. And it kills me to know that I couldn't do that. So it's not pleasant. Because my brain is like, if only you could have done something else. And I tried. I really tried. I actually would like try to find different routes for my painkiller, different napping schedules, different everything to be able to like help take care of little Wolf for the duration, and I couldn't. And it killed me, and to admit that I couldn't keep everything going. And it didn't matter because I don't know. You know, I always feel like after a while when you, I don't want to be so negative about this, but sometimes when you are chronically ill, you lose people because you aren't the person you were, you can't help them the way they need, etc. You just do. It's something a lot of people with chronic pain and fatigue talk about. You know, you used to be like the fun friend, and now you're not the fun friend anymore because you're the friend that always has to like cancel or postpone, or you're the friend that's like hiding pain and has to leave early, or all this other kind of stuff. So you're not the fun one anymore. You can't be fun in the way they consider fun. But a fair amount of your family members leave you as well because they think you're faking, or because you can't, you know, have a part in childcare, or because you are just, you know, too sad to be around for them. Whatever the reason, you have a lot of family that actually doesn't stick around when you are in a bad position. It isn't just that spouses decide to leave if you get sick. You lose a lot of other people in your life as well. And that's one thing people don't consider. It's not just, like I said, a spouse that just can't handle seeing you ill. And honestly, I always wonder why I'm not good enough by myself. But we don't need to talk about that. Let's see. We are doing okay. I think we might get through this. Earlier in this run, I was like, oh, that's not looking good. This game can indeed turn on a dime, Shelpers. So, you never know what you're gonna get. I've been kind of sort of working on my next book. I really want my second book published, but that ain't gonna happen. That book has got a curse on it a mile long, it feels like. Sometimes you have to shelf your books. I think I want to publish it myself, but self-publishing is like really time-consuming and or expensive, and I don't know how to format or do any of those things. So I do have a friend willing to sell me a few ISBNs for like $10 a pop, instead of me having to spend hundreds of dollars a pop. But I still need formatting and a cover design and everything like that. And even though I kind of know the art I want to use, I don't think I have a high enough resolution for it, because you need a really high resolution to have a really good cover. I did a mock-up cover once or twice, but a friend of mine said it wasn't high enough resolution, and I'm like, it's not meant for that. It was meant for, because one time I participated in Author August. Oh shit. I should have took more of the guns, but then again, Zero has helped me. I don't know. I just don't know. I just feel like no matter what I do, I'm not enough. And I've had enough people show me that where it's hard. like, I'm gonna be 100. Like, I'm not even talking about my baby sibling right now because they were like, well, the artist sibling is like, well, do you know, like, could you put yourself in Golden Wolf's shoes? And I'm like, I can't say every nuance because I'm not Golden Wolf. But it was like, they were looking for me to say something specific. Yeah, so we're not really talking right now because they literally pushed until I was crying. And it's like, doesn't everybody in my family left know that how useless I feel? Like how fucking useless I feel as a person, that I couldn't help. And I know I shouldn't talk about this stuff because I know hardly anybody, you know, the people who are here, they know me and they know I'm just a really open person, but I also know that can make you an LOL cow on the internet to, like, you know, talk about all this stuff publicly. So, but yeah, I'm just sad and I'm old and who gives a fuck after a while, I guess. But yeah. It just made me feel really bad. It's like, okay, so artist sibling always wants our family back together, and artist sibling, they only work on me technically. I'm sorry your self-esteem is struggling. I really am. I'm here for you if you ever need to vent. But yeah, just knowing that no matter what I do, it's not enough. And knowing that artist sibling, they didn't say that they are basically taking Golden Wolf's side on all this, but with the way they come at me for it once in a while, it really sure fucking feels like it. And I think about Little Wolf like every night. Where he is, how he's doing, if he's happy, if he's safe, all of that, every night. And then I think I could have, you know, tried to do something to help, and I know I couldn't. I know with my disability, I know I couldn't. But my brain says I could have actually did something that mattered, and I couldn't even do that. So, it's been rough, I'm not gonna lie. It's been rough feeling like I could have done something more, and then having the, like, baby brother essentially be like, well, how do you think he feels? And it's like, I imagine terrible, but in broad strokes, I'm not gonna say like what Golden Wolf is actually thinking or feeling, because I don't think Golden Wolf would like that I would even presume to know everything he's going through, you know. But my question to my baby sibling, and they didn't answer this, was because they're like, I didn't mean that how it was or how you took it or whatever, and I'm like, how was it meant? So baby sibling, how was it all meant? What were you hoping to accomplish? Because I'm extremely curious as to the point of getting me to almost tears. Yeah. I don't think my family realizes what's left of it or whatever, how fucking useless I feel. I'm practically bedbound. I barely go out and do anything. And people think, oh, you just, you want to lay around all day. You don't. Laying around all day is terrible. You watch the world go by without you. You watch everybody learn how to drive and move to new cities and have children and pets and buy their first house or their first car, or, you know, go to concerts and other things where you can have like memories made. I don't do that. I can't do that. You go on road trips somewhere as a family. I can't do that. There are no road trips for me. A road trip would probably fucking kill me. When I had my first cancer, I had to go like 4 hours or so by a vehicle one way to go to the hospital that was gonna help me. And that was not pleasant. 4 hours in a vehicle was not pleasant for me at all. So my life isn't just one where I can like, oh, I don't want to do X, Y, and Z, but I always have, you know, the energy and the time and stuff for everything I want to do. That is not true. I am in so much pain. I am so exhausted always that I can't even. One of the reasons I don't make paranormal videos for all of you anymore is because it takes me so damn long. It takes me like between research and gathering up all the info and doing the slides and having the quote unquote what passes for proof in the paranormal world, all of that shit. It takes me forever. The video I got done on my personal channel was not even 10 minutes long. And I've been muddling through it for months. Since the incident that I talked about happened. Months, Shelpers. Yeah, it's not a consistent month's effort because I also have other stuff I have to do with my life. But still. And you know, it's not easy for me. And I get so frustrated that I can't like make the content I want. I can't like help the people I want. It is so maddening. So unrelentingly maddening that in some days I just feel like, what's the point? Like, what's the point in trying to create stuff? What's the point in trying to be there for people? Like, what is the point? Yeah, exactly. Here we are just trying to get by. That's a perfect way to put it. And one of the things I say to people is honor your limitations, and I'm a fucking huge hypocrite. And I hate hypocrites. And the reason I'm a hypocrite is because I don't honor my limitations. I try nothing but to push myself and to figure out a way to do X, Y, and Z even when I shouldn't do X, Y, and Z. I'm a fat person. I've talked about this. But one of the things I've always tried to do is to keep moving, like physically moving. Because I know that inertia is bad for you, as a poor diet. And I try really hard to do like my exercises and stuff. And my God, is it painful. I can only manage 10 minutes before I start to cry. Like literal tears, because it's just so painful for me. But I'm always like, in my brain it's like, oh, it can't be that bad. Why are you this way? Like, why are you so lazy? I'm not lazy. I'm literally something in me just doesn't work. And I've heard that the thing I need to go to the rheumatologist for, my connective tissue disease, my whatever the fuck it is, I've heard can cause exhaustion and it can cause really bad pain. And I'm just like, is that what's going on with me? Like, is that really the answer? I don't know, because there is no movement on my rheumatology appointment. It seems like everything is moving like molasses, but I know it takes a while to get into a specialist, but I don't know. You know, I'm trying to maintain positivity and be like, well, maybe the rheumatologist can help me. Maybe this thing can change. Maybe I can do this. But it feels almost like I can't. Almost like there is no change. Right? It's all exhausting. And then you have people shilling fucking AI everywhere. And oh, the guy that did the AI speech at the university, the one that was like really condescending and shit, apparently his company uses drones to kill people. So his company is not the haha piss memes kind of company. It's the haha now you're dead because we found you kind of company. Or the I guess we can just assassinate this person out of nowhere kind of company. And it's like, oh, you're one of those. That's even fucking worse than haha piss meme bros. Just fucking wild, I tell ya. And these are the people that are supposedly deserving of our respect? I don't fucking think so. Like, that ain't happening any fucking time soon, let me assure you. One of the things I don't like about the book game I have, one of the only things, is that, okay, they don't use the actual titles of books, but they're parodies, so like Gone Girl is like AFK Girl and all that. Well, they have a parody of like the Harry Potter books. So it's called like Harry Fodder and whatever else, and it's not Joke Rowling's name, it's another person's name, but I don't sell those books in my store. And when I get the rare copies, because you can't choose what you get rare copies of, when I get the rare copies, I actually throw them in the garbage, even though the rare copies can get me like hundreds of dollars. I actually just throw them in the fucking trash outside my little shop. I'm like, nope, we're not doing that. Because giving that little fucking asshole any fucking attention makes her more powerful, like a demon. Demons thrive off you knowing who they are and everything, and yeah. So do people like TERFs and all that other bullshit, so I'm like, nope, not selling her shit in my store, sorry. So I won't even play the game with her stuff in it. As far as like, I just keep deleting it and I won't buy it to sell it in my store. I understand that when you're dealing with a lot, it's like, I can't even survive right now. Why does this matter? So I definitely understand that issue. So many times I'm dealing with so much stuff, or I struggle against apathy sometimes. I sometimes have to struggle my ass off against apathy, because I tell myself what is out there still matters and stuff, but when you're too exhausted and whatnot, it's hard. It's really hard to just be like, yeah, this matters and here's why, or whatever. Okay, replay the previous card's effect. No, I'll just take that out because I think we're about ready to have them find us. Yep. All right, so I think we're entirely done with the woods now. I think. Let me see if there's anything new. We can unlock some new people. Hold on, we're in the wrong spot. And again, here we go, the tavern. I like Mr. Bones. I don't think I'm gonna use him, but I like Mr. Bones. Then I'll save the rest of the money. The bony damage is like, it spreads out, so. Oh, there's something else in here, eh? We could try it. I might have to go to the bridge instead, but we'll try. But yeah, part of it isn't just surviving though. Like, care fatigue also has to do with like everything else going on in the world. I get that. I did tell everybody about when I was younger how I would keep track of like global events and like why which country didn't like which country and who was doing what in which country, and it literally burned me out. I was starting to just like cry all the time and nobody understood why, and it was because I was constantly feeding myself a news drip of horrible things, because the news is not puppies and kittens. So I was on a drip of like constant like hate and murder and theft and all this other kind of shit. And it wasn't that I liked that stuff, it was just that that stuff was something I thought I should know. I thought I should be a good global citizen. That's what I told myself every time. You have to know what's going on in the world, Toluca. You have to be a good global citizen. And what I was doing was tearing out my own heart. Just absolutely tearing out my own heart. And I told myself that I shouldn't look away because I was privileged to be in a position where I wasn't going through like open conflict like people were, and I wasn't going through this, that, and the other, like this disaster or this genocide or whatever. I wasn't going through that. So I told myself that it was important to not turn away. And all I was doing was just making it miserable for me to be alive. And every time I would feel really bad because I'd be on a drip feed of all this negativity, I would be like, well, what do you think they feel? Like, oh, you're poor little privileged girl living in a, you know, one of the better countries in the world that isn't, you know, actively like getting, you know, all this bad stuff happening to it every minute of every day, even though there is plenty bad in America. It's not the same as like living in a country where you have bombs overhead or whatever. And I was like, oh, poor little privileged girl. And I would just be feeling even worse because I would know I'm not there, so I'm just making it about me, and it just felt really bad. So but yeah, I thought that I needed to be somebody who knew, because there are people in this world suffering, like truly suffering, and to close your eyes to it is cruel, but feeding yourself that kind of thing the entire time is not good for your soul either. So finding that balance is really difficult. And as you said, when you're just so fucking exhausted, like, you know, it's not anything you can really keep up with anyway. Sometimes when you're just in the thick of it, it's like the world could end and you'd be like, yeah, that tracks. Just, I hate to say it that way, but it's fucking true. Okay, we can get that going, and they're gonna hit me this time. Yep. I'm already like half dead. This is not a good run for us so far, Shulpers. But I need to keep on trucking. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's see. That can be destroyed once we use it. Yeah, the bridge is only stage 3, I think. So we'll be able to handle it, supposedly. Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I used to be everybody used to be a completely different person when they were a kid, but like, how do I put this? I was optimistic. And that for everybody else, I'm still optimistic for other people. I was optimistic for myself. Like, I was gonna have this great life, and I was gonna be a college graduate and all this kind of stuff. And when I was young, I had like the best knowledge of poetry, and I was gonna be living in New York as a published author and as a lawyer or a sex therapist for the disabled or whatever it was. Like, I had all these plans, yo. I had all these plans. And of course, life never turns out the way you think it will. But because I was fed on this whole you're too smart to do nothing with your life and everything, and I believed it, I bought into it. I thought that my life, even though it was gonna be hard, you know, harder than a lot of other people that didn't have to deal with the bullshit I do, that I was still going to get a good life, have everything work out, all this kind of stuff. And remembering that feeling, like, every once in a while, just punches me right through the heart. Remembering what it was like to feel hopeful is such a foreign feeling for me. Like, I can't even tell you the last time I felt truly hopeful. Maybe when Husby and I met. Maybe. Maybe when we first moved into our apartment. So 2008 is the last time I felt truly hopeful for something. Like my life would change for the better in a discernible way. Why would I take this when I could take this? Oh, this is reusable. Okay, I gotcha. Oh, I think I'll use that one for now. Because you don't want your deck too bloated either, so. I'm not worried about triggering effects yet. We'll just put that on there. Very good. But yeah, now I don't believe hardly anything can happen for me, to be honest. It's just something that doesn't exist anymore. I want there to be. Like, every once in a while I will be like, maybe going to see the rheumatologist will help me figure out some of what's going on with my body, or maybe this time I'll get published in like this really exclusive magazine I've been hoping for years or whatever. Interesting. But yeah, I'm not the person I was, and nobody is, but I kind of wish I were her still. Because she was just so much better at this life thing than I am. She had less trauma. Not no trauma, but less trauma. That was part of her problem. Oh man. She didn't lose the majority of her family within 3 years. She didn't have cancer twice consecutive years, although it was simultaneously growing. She didn't have all this other stuff that I have. So maybe that. I don't know. She didn't have chronic fatigue to contend with back in the day. And while my chronic pain is definitely worse now, or I always had chronic fatigue, it is definitely worse now than it used to be, so. She's just dealing with I'm just dealing with a whole different set of rules and everything that she never had to deal with. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty decent amount of damage for that. I'm glad I put that on my 3 gun. But yeah, I tried to get along with everybody, although when I was young, that was to my detriment, actually. Because I would always try to be nice, I would always try to see everybody's side. And I was one of those people that always heard the saying, if you live long enough, you'll become a villain in someone's story. And I didn't believe that because I wanted to be everybody's friend. I wanted to do the right thing by everybody. I wanted to help everybody out. And it's true. You do end up the villain in other people's story, no matter what you try. I didn't used to feel that way, to be honest. Because I was like, not if you're nice enough. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, DeLuca. It's just wild what you think when you're a kid. But that's okay too. Sometimes you have to do what's right for yourself. Even if that means that you can't be everywhere to everyone. Even though I can still see that part of myself where I still try. I still try my damnedest. And part of it is I want people to know they're not forgotten or not loved or whatever. Part of that is just because there's still that part of me that's a kid that wants everybody to like me. Yeah, that's true. Some people are so busy like chasing after what makes other people happy that they forget about themselves. And well, at some points you have to do that, like if you're a parent or whatever. It becomes a little more nebulous when you are just somebody trying to survive in the world. Oh, we can actually get this done. The Blood Whip. I love the Blood Whip. It's so much bigger and brighter. Alright, there we go. That was a nice amount of damage. That's a good amount of damage. Yeah, I just hate the fact that my brain is like, there's something I could have done differently to help my family. I guess my ex-family now. I've learned a lot of lessons about holding on to people who don't want to hold on to you and whatnot. Even though that's a really painful one to grasp for me. Some people don't have a problem with it. Some people are like, well, if you don't take me as I am and you don't, it doesn't matter to you beyond anything that I can do for you, get lost. And I really admire that, but I'm not one of those people. I'm always like, why don't you like me? What could I have done to make you like me? I'll stay up at night wondering why I wasn't good enough, etc., etc. I'm honestly pathetic in my old age. But husband thinks I'm pretty great, so. And that's worth a lot. That's worth way more than I know what to do with. Having somebody by my side that believes in me, that sees the good in me. Yeah, I've been missing you on here, but I understand life is like that. I hope that means you're on the mend, but if not, I hope that happens soon. That's all I'll say publicly. Yes, my Blood Whip. Ooh. The rest of them have to come in from the cold to just find me again. Let's see. This first. Oh shit, I had a twofer. Yeah, I do like that too. The 2 mana, whatever the hell it is. And like I said, if I can, I do want to go over my Magic the Gathering cards. It's been so long though, the rules have changed so much. They have like a lot more status effects now that I've never dealt with, and they have a bunch of other stuff I've never dealt with, but I thought it would be fun just going through the old cards and talking about my experiences and whatnot. But then people will be like, are you gonna do content like this? And I'm gonna be like, no, not often, no. Because I don't play it anymore. I'm not a collector. My cards are not in any kind of protective condoms at all. When I played the Dragon Ball Z game, and my brothers used to buy like $2,000 worth of cards every month or every 2 weeks or whatever the hell it was when they were young, I had some of those in my like protective pockets and stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna actually try to do announcement stuff on videos, but my problem is apparently on the Summer Games Fest website, I could be wrong about this, but I heard on the Summer Games Fest website they had over 700 games announced, and I have not watched nearly all of the presentations. And I don't know if I can or if I should try to catch them all to give you all a roundup. But my thought was I would watch a bunch of them and then do a playlist of trailers of games that I find interesting. Not games I think you particularly would want to know about, because honestly it's difficult to know what everybody's individual taste is going to be. But just things that have caught my eye or make my dick perk up. And kind of why. I don't know, we'll see. I have like 25 games so far, but I wanted to whittle it to 20. But that's before the Women-Led Gaming Showcase. That is before like the horror game showcase. Part of me thinks I should cover the horror, part of me thinks I shouldn't. So I don't know. Or if I should just say, okay everyone, I watched the Chill Showcase, I watched the Nintendo one, the Sony one, the Xbox one, and I watched Day of the Devs. And then I tried to watch that V3 showcase that I quit out on. If that's enough coverage, like, oh shit, I shouldn't have ate that, damn it. So I thought maybe just doing the, I understand that way of doing things. I just thought, you know, I would look at it and go, okay, here's what I liked. I mean, there are some interesting concepts that I didn't actually choose. So one game that I did not choose to talk about was the Ukulele Racer. I don't have that on my list, but it's in the back of my mind that it still exists. And it looks a lot like old-time Mario Kart. So the fact that that existed is pretty cool, but it's just not something I'm gonna play. You know, there are games like that where I'm like, okay, I can see where this would be good for people, but this is not my jam. So do I talk about it or do I not, you know? There was more than one game. The fact that they brought back Crazy Taxi, I'm not gonna play it, but I found that interesting that they are. Apparently, supposedly, they're gonna have AI in Crazy Taxi. That's what I've heard, and Husby just nodded my way.
I suppose that Sega's already confirmed.
Oh, Sega's already confirmed.
Being really big about what it was used for.
Oh, they're having AI, just not what it's used for, because of course they don't want to tell you, all right.
By the way, you could talk about the world's first trillionaire.
The what?
You could talk about the world's first trillionaire.
The world's first trillionaire. Ha. Yeah, I could.
If you wanted to.
Honestly, we shouldn't have a world where trillionaires exist. No, I'm not saying that somebody should like remove the person. I'm saying that in a world where people can't even afford enough to eat, we're getting skyrocketing fucking inflation, all this other bullshit. We should not have this kind of shit. We shouldn't have multi-billionaires like this. I'm sorry, we shouldn't. I'm one of those people that believes once you hit $1 billion, you get a plaque that says yay for you, and then the rest of it goes to like house the homeless, feed the poor, universal health care, etc. And you know what? If I ever got to be a billionaire, I would be perfectly fine with just having 1 billion. I would be, you have no idea how much $1 billion actually is. Like, people have no concept the gap between a million and a billion. Trust me, people who have $1 billion are fucking fine. They don't need anything else. It's for, they're not gonna starve. They can still own their fucking super yachts. They can still go on vacation any fucking where they want, own any home they want. They can still do anything they want with that money. They do not need that much money. So yes, actually, they're so afraid of GTA that they are like running scared to, they're gonna be like, no, please, we don't want to release in November. So there's everything releasing in October and September. Like, October and September are so packed. It's like somebody who hasn't shit in a year. It's just so tight in there. It's unreal.
It get delayed because there was nothing about that game this month.
Yeah, I thought that too. Husby just said, watch it get delayed because there was literally nothing about the game. I actually thought it the same fucking thing. That's wild, but if it were me, I would still put my game out. I know that sounds like probably a recipe for disaster, but I would still put my game out and I'd be like, hey, guess what? This game is coming. Not only that, but games that don't even compete with GTA are backing out. Yeah, but morals are kind of a difficult thing to regulate because whose morals are we talking about? Are we talking about the right-wingers that think like gay people shouldn't exist in public or they should be executed for even, you know, blah blah blah? Or the people that think people like me should never leave home because the ugly laws were a great idea and eugenics is fine? I mean, it kind of depends on whose morals we're talking about here. You know, are we talking about the morals of like people who think all war is bad, or are we talking about the morals of people who are like, as long as my neighbor has the same religion as me, they should be allowed to have a nuclear weapon? I mean, we just need to be really clear. Because when people talk about like America or whatever their country is at the time, and they talk about, oh, this should be what happens here, this shouldn't be what happens here, according to whom exactly? And I would love to say it should be moralistic stuff where religion doesn't factor in, but that's not going to happen, especially not America. I mean, did you hear about our military actually like taking out so many of the religions when it comes to like religious exemptions and stuff? And like of the 31 religions they have, the vast majority of those religions are some kind of Christian. Like, they're like, oh, we have all these different religions that in our military, you can surely fall under one. And it's like religions, Christian Catholic, Christian Baptist, Christian Jehovah's Witness, Christian. And it's like, okay, there's also like Buddhist and a few other ones still, but there is no Wiccan, there is no pagan. Yeah, that's, but it would be difficult because whose morality are we going off of? You know, some people think that abortion is not good. Some people think any abortion is good. Whose morals are we actually following? You know, I would love to say mine, but so would everybody else. Everybody else would love to say they want their, you know, it should be their religion, it should be their feelings about things. But yeah. And we've seen people try to legislate morality. It hasn't really worked too well. Of course, the people trying to legislate morality are often the kind of people who are hypocritical in their morality. We can talk about that too. Like the people who say gay people are not people that should be allowed to do whatever, and then when the Republican National Convention is in town, Grindr fucking crashes because there are so many hits for, let's see, people looking for dates, I guess you should call it. And it's like, but wait a minute, I thought it was immoral for a man to lie with another man. Whoopsie. Guess that went out the door real fucking fast. Yeah, I get that. I mean, I think about, okay, going to movies. Winnie the Pooh, the Winnie the Pooh movie from 2011 came out when Harry Potter was coming out. It was not a box office success. Winnie the Pooh, not Harry Potter. And I think later on down the road, they were talking about how they did it on purpose because Disney had been wanting to kill 2D animation for a long ass time. And to do that, they had to show that it was no longer good and profitable to do 2D. And one of the ways they did that was putting their movies up against fucking difficult stuff they couldn't win against, like Harry Potter. So they set it up to fail. The sons of bitches. I mean, not like it's surprising, but... So going back to GTA, I guess it could be considered setting your game up to fail. If you even look sideways, if GTA is actually coming out. But you would think if it were, Husby is right, we would have got a lot of coverage about it. We would have got a lot of hype about it. Nothing. You would have thought we would have gotten at least a new trailer during the Summer Game Fest. So I guess people are going the safer than sorry route, but I don't know. I'd have the balls to do it, because especially if you're an indie game that's not in the same genre, I'd be like, well, we're not getting a whole lot of play anyway, but we might as well try something else. It wouldn't matter to me. If I was like a simulation game or whatever, I'd be like, well, GTA has GTA Online. But if I were a puzzle game, I'd be like, I don't think GTA is gonna matter one bit for us. It's just a random ass puzzle game out in the middle of nowhere. But again, if it's a slow news day, maybe your stuff would get more play, so I understand that, but I don't know. You don't want to be up against, you know, you don't want to be like Winnie the Pooh, I guess. It's hard to tell. Okay, there we go. Freeze 4 people and then axe them. I have some wizards that are very happy to see me. Oh, dang it. I just don't see how GTA is coming out right now. I could be wrong and it could make its deadline, but wouldn't they be hyping the shit up out of us right now? Like, oh god, here's a demo and it's coming in September. Oh god, here's this like new trailer and see all this new stuff you can do. Here's, you know, wouldn't they be hyping us up for the demo and stuff by now? This is not some fly-by-night mom and pop bullshit. This is GTA. So yeah, that is true. So maybe if you're a AAA developer, keeping it away would be the wise thing to do. But as far as like small time, I don't know about that. But that doesn't make sense, that if you are a AAA dev being like, well, we gotta think about this logically because people are not gonna want our $70 game with their $70 game, so. People don't have a lot of fucking money for that shit right now. Not like they ever really did, but it's getting a lot worse now. And if people are gonna only buy like one game, it's probably gonna be like GTA over something else. Oh, ×3 damage. Okay, let's go. 40, 45, 100. But this one burns more, so we're gonna try to burn more. I will tell you flat out, one of the games on my list to talk about had been Amsterdam 1666. It intrigued me. There was a demo. I was gonna play it for all of you. Yeah, you're right. I think you're right on that one. That seems logical. Only like other big boys could probably compete at all. But in a gaming world where most people are having to go indie or go legacy, like, you know, retro media because they can't afford anything. Yeah, I can totally see that. So, I was gonna talk about Amsterdam 1666 because I was interested. But I'm not now, Shelpers, because guess what they put into the fucking game? You wanna guess? Anybody take a guess? You know what I love. It's so important to me now. If you said they put AI into the fucking game, you are correct. And they tried to backtrack by using fucking Expedition's excuse. And we all remember what Expedition's excuse was, don't we? Well, guys, gee, we just, placeholder assets, that's it. We didn't mean to keep them in, guys. They're gonna be gone by the actual release, guys. Don't stop buying our shit, guys. We just wanted you really not to notice so that you would fucking bow down and buy it, okay? Pricks. So, that game's not on my list anymore. I don't care if they take it out now. I do not believe you when you say you use generative AI as a placeholder. I have seen placeholder assets. I have seen them from multiple companies now. As a matter of fact, one of the games I played a lot at one point was a little game called Slay the Spire 2. And they don't have all of the art done yet for all of the cards. And you can fucking tell they're placeholders. There are definitely placeholder arts in those cards. You cannot look at those and say, I can't tell. Yeah, you can. But the point of placeholders is to make it look fucking obvious. Your placeholder is not supposed to be something where it's supposed to look so close to the final product that you can barely tell what it is. Yeah. But you can barely tell what it is. When you deal with AI, you can barely tell sometimes, okay? So if you're using it as a placeholder, you're not doing the right thing. I hate to tell developers this, but a placeholder is something shitty that you put in while you're working on other parts so you can go back and fix it. You don't put in something that is so close to the real deal that you might just whoopsie poopsie leave it in like fucking magic. I know that's weird, and no, to be fair, I have never designed a video game, but I have looked this up enough since all this shenanigans started to occur with game developers just having to whoopsied their way through another missed fucking asset that just happened to be AI. It's supposed to be something that is highly visible so that you know to replace it. Not, oh, aren't those trees lifelike? Fuck you. You know what you're doing. The only thing I can think of where it would be the truth is if you grew up with AI and AI told you, why no, this ultra tree that looks almost exactly like your art style is just a placeholder. You don't have to worry about us staying in after the final product release. Suck my fucking dirty ass. You fucking know what you're doing. And that's the point. You just thought you could get away with it. Same thing with Expedition 33, mind you. They actually told people, we didn't use any AI, and then they're like, well, we did, but we just forgot we put it in here somehow. And it's like, but again, that takes away your whole argument of it's a placeholder, because placeholders are supposed to be highly visible. So, no Amsterdam 1666 or 1666 Amsterdam for me. Fuck that noise. We are not promoting the fucking data scraping, warmongering, racist algorithmic bullshit that is AI. Where towns are actually having their electricity cut off or doubled in their electric bills just so they can feed the fucking beast. We are not doing that. I don't care what game it is. I don't care if State of Decay 3, which is one of the games I'm going to talk about, by the way, cough cough. I don't care if State of Decay 3 says, oh, we're sorry, it was an accident, we just left something in here, whoops, we'll never do it again, we're sorry. They write me a personal apology letter. I wouldn't fucking care. I wouldn't touch it. Yeah, but you see, the thing is, everybody calls everything AI now. And that's on purpose, and I've talked about that too. Like, I've used a feature for years, and it's to remove the background from photos sometimes for projects I do. So, a simple background remover. And now they're like, oh, well, you see, the background remover is AI now. And I'm like, what? The background is, huh? Like, it's AI now? No, how did that happen? Like, so they use the term AI to encompass everything. And they're doing that on purpose. Because when I used to know what AI was, it was because we were using it for, like, the enemies. Technically, I don't know if you remember this, but one of the E3s was talking about the fish AI. The realistic fish AI. And how it would, like, swim in a regular pattern like normal fish and stuff like that. And you're right, the enemies in video games are AI. But it's not the same AI, but they are intentionally muddying the waters. To be like, oh, everything is AI. This is AI, that's AI. Like, you use spell check? Well, congratulations, you're using AI. And it's like, you know exactly what we mean when we say AI. They're just trying to fucking make it so that people don't have any clear... So I guess I should do what other people do and say LLMs. And you know, it's fucking sad too, because there are types of AI that could be developed that could be for so much good. And I shit on AI, okay? But AI is great at finding patterns and shit. Like, tremendous. One of the things AI is amazing for is finding, like, cancer and stuff on a screen, like a cancer screen, like an MRI or a CT, that kind of thing. It's tremendous for doing that. It does it so well. It can predict it, like, a couple years before doctors can even see it. And as far as I know, it's accurate, which the accuracy is fucking important. Let's not tell people they're gonna fucking have cancer when they don't. But it's tremendous. It's amazing what it can do. There are applications like that where I would love to see it built for that. I would love to see medical AI that can like read results and get people like early cancer detection and figure out what's really wrong with people doing that and all that other stuff. I would fucking love that. So when I'm against AI, I'm not against all forms of AI. I'm against everybody using it and using up the water on the planet and the electricity. I'm against people using it so they don't have to hire actual artists and workers. I'm against all this kind of shit. The stealing of people's diaries and books and music to make something that's not human try to sound human. I'm against all that kind of shit. I'm not against the applications for, and I'm against using it for things like strategic pricing in stores where the store sees you and it looks at how many are on the shelf and then it makes a determination on what price you should pay for that last fucking jar of Nutella. I'm against that kind of thing. But I'm not against early cancer detection. I'm not against AI that can generally and genuinely help like disabled people with certain tasks. I'm not against AI that can do like the shit stuff and leave the good stuff to the humans. I'm not against that. But I am against certain things. Yeah, personal color. I'm against everybody using it for everyday things and making our planet worse. There are a lot of cities that have to fight back now, and I think as much as $64 billion in deals have been put on hold because so many states or cities at least are saying like, we don't want your data centers here. We don't know what the negative will be, but it'll be, you know, we've heard things, or here's what the data says so far. I accidentally touched the auto button. But yeah, there are people fighting back against having it in their neighborhood. I am for all of that. I love that. I love that people are waking up and being like, yeah, it's not going to matter. It's not going to work. But I don't want it thrown out entirely. I'm just one of those people that would rather see it save lives than take them via drone. I'm one of those people that would want to see it used by medical professionals in ethical, accurate ways than to have it used against people and to price people out of certain items at a grocery store. I would rather see it help like a blind person navigate stuff better than I would be okay with, you know, people using it to piss filter meme 80 hours a day. I have no idea, but you're right. The NFTs and everything were terrible as well. I wasn't a fan of those. And did you know that I think it was the Ape Yacht Club or whatever it was, that really popular line of NFTs, that the person who actually designed those hardly got any pay at all? Or whatever. I didn't even know that, but you would think that a person that designed like these really popular NFTs would have got some really good stuff out of it. Nope, not at all. I mean, I don't want to say that it's because she was a woman, because artists in general get fucked over all the time, but all right, I guess we'll add this to that. There we go. It's spicy damage. Okay, we're gonna leave that in the wall for now. I got stuck on a damn table, and again. Don't invite me to a banquet, apparently. Jesus. There we go. But yeah, the only people making it big off of AI right now are NVIDIA. NVIDIA is making it like, oh, really big, but everybody else is pretty much losing money off of AI. Which I can't really feel too bad about it because they know what it is. They were just hoping they'd have enough regular rubes like us jumping on board to make it profitable for the rich people. Again, still, whatever. Yeah, exactly. But they're like, oh, it's not like that. There's like a chain of command or a chain of ownership you can follow. And I'm like, so? I'm just going to remember and point out to you every minute I can when we talk about NFTs that somebody bought an NFT of the cover of Dune and thought they actually owned the rights to the book series. They thought they won the rights to the book series of Dune. That they could franchise it out for more movies and they would get residuals and all that. They thought they owned Dune because they bought an NFT of the cover. That was a wild time. That really was. I don't know how you thought you could have a picture of a cover and that could be the rights to it. And I'm trying to feel bad for this person at this point, but I couldn't. And so many people had their NFTs taken away. They would go to the NFTs and it would say like 404 not found. And a lot of the NFTs were taken artwork anyway. Because I really don't think Dune Guy would have been like, yeah, take the covers for NFTs. That sounds like a great idea. But I could be wrong. But I don't think so. So again, just taking people's shit without a care in the world. Yeah, I've been seeing so many videos because of my algorithm, you know how it is. You know how most people watch, I don't know what, on YouTube, but I end up watching like Gen Alpha's literacy crisis and all that, those kind of videos. I watch as like high schoolers struggle to read and comprehend a sentence. I watch teachers who are saying they're quitting because they have absolutely no control over what goes on anymore. Because their schools either want to teach to an AI program or just be so constrained to what they feel the test is going to have that they can't go outside of it. And how many schools now, if the student like shows up at all, you can't fail them. They're like, you can't fail the kids anymore. You can't hold them back anymore. So now people are having like 10th graders in classrooms that can only do math and reading at the level of like a 2nd grader. Yeah, I don't. I let the algorithm pursue me. I actually have found good people and good music that way, so I'm just like, take the spin, it's a roulette. It's kind of like that one like add-on to Wikipedia where you can just be brought to a random article and start learning about shit. But yeah, there are a lot of things about teachers quitting teaching because of everything. And this one woman, since she couldn't get them to hardly read a paragraph and follow the directions anymore, a paragraph, like 4 sentences, she actually would start the classroom day by putting a prompt on the board and having them free write without any kind of expectation that there's proper grammar or anything, just to get them to start writing, you know, just to prompt them into it. Get them used to words on the page, get everything flowing, have them have curiosity, etc. And she got in trouble for it because she was told, that's not in your curriculum to teach. Like, she had to stick to the program. That's what they told her, stick to the program. Teach to the program. I would have been so fucking fit to be tied, I think I would have quit on the spot. They have a bunch of kids now that can't hardly do any work, and the response is, well, you still have to teach them. How? When you have half the kids in your school, or class, let's say half, some more, some less, but around half. If you have half the kids in your class that are not proficient in what you're teaching, how are you supposed to teach? And I don't blame the kids for this. I don't. I get that. The algorithm can be very hit or miss on YouTube. But yeah, how are you supposed to teach a kid? This one guy teaches geometry. Yeah, I get that. But for some of us, school was a nightmare, not just, you know, trying to get through. It was like survival more than just... Yeah. Being tormented was fun. But... I say that sarcastically, by the way. Don't come at me. But I'm just looking at it like... I can't imagine. Some schools are going AI. Some schools... They have to use tablets, but they have no way of checking what the student is actually watching on the tablets or doing. So the students could just be fucking around the whole time and the teacher wouldn't be able to stop them because there is no software that lets the teacher look. There are just so many things that are going wrong. Having the kids attached to a cell phone all day doesn't help. When I went back in my day... I know I sound like a curmudgeon, but they're starting to learn that keeping kids in front of electronics all day is actually very bad for them. Don't know how they couldn't figure that out earlier, but it's true. So, it's wild what they're just quote-unquote discovering now. Okay, we did more damage. Okay, well, now we're going to the bridge. Take it to the bridge. Yep, this is the bridge that I was talking about in the title, or in the when I posted on Blue Sky. But yeah, the one school actually had it so that if you had 50%, or if you were just there, you started at a baseline of 50%. I said this, I think, on Monday, and that is so bizarre to me. You didn't actually do any of the work, nope, but you start with a 50. So even if you put in like 20% extra work, you still get a 70. That is wild. My teachers would have been like, no, Toluca, that's not how this works. Well, some schools are really trying to like make cell phones not available during class hours. And then the parents are screaming at the teachers like, what happens if I need to get a hold of my kid? And it's like, you know what happened when I was a kid and my parents needed to get a hold of me? My mom did. Guess what happened, Shelpers? She called the office and the office tracked me down. But I didn't grow up in a world of active shooter drills either. And that could be partially what is driving parents to constantly want an eye on their kids. And honestly, I can't blame them for that. We put them in a place where they can't be protected. And I know no place on earth is safe, I get that. Don't come at me. But there is a whole other debate when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because if everybody has their cell phone, they can call for help, they can hide, and just have the cops come, etc. Okay, we're gonna do adds armor. We're gonna do it on this one. Not sure if it just doubles my armor or what, but we'll figure it out. So I can get where parents would be like, I don't want the inability to keep track of my kids. But they also have to know these kids are using that phone for more than, you know, just doing the keeping tabs on them. Get your kid a flip phone. Flip phones are actually becoming more popular nowadays again. But I think about that and it's like, you can have a flip phone for your kids. But yeah, so many kids, and from the time they're born, are in front of a tablet or in front of a screen that they are really losing a lot of focusing ability and whatnot. And they've done cognitive tests with AI, and just using AI for a short time as an adult, you can start losing your ability to do math and certain other things that you could have done before. So imagine you have yet to learn, let's say, your math and whatnot, and you're stuck with AI on top of that. I feel like AI is here partially so that we have a group of people in the future that don't question anything, that don't know how to look anything up on their own, that don't know how to think critically, that just see whatever they see online and go, yeah, that's real, or whatever, and they just go on their merry little way. They don't want people thinking for themselves. They don't want people considering whether what they're seeing is real, etc., 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 forever. You all know what I'm talking about with all that. You know, but to be fair, this started before AI and cell phones. This started with No Child Left Behind. Because No Child Left Behind meant if you had struggling students and they didn't pass to a certain level, then you lost your funding. The government would cut your funding, which, if you were a school that had struggling students, technically you shouldn't be losing your funding. You should be getting more funding. Okay, so we unlocked the thing for the village. That's good. But yeah, so it became you had to have standardized testing, but more than that, you had to have the ability to have a certain number of people, a certain number of students actually graduate every year. That's how they knew whether your school was a success and deserved funding. So there were so many ways that schools had to find alternatives for kids that weren't up to snuff. And one of the ways they did that was just passing those kids through. Right, exactly. Deepfakes are so difficult now to determine, you know, if they're what they are. You have people that are making it so that you can't tell anymore. People, boomers on Facebook, even the worst AI you've ever seen, they believe it. Then you have people who...
I turned it off.
Okay. Then you have people who don't believe anything because they're like, well, that's AI. Well, that's AI. So even if they see something real, they're not going to believe it because AI. So... But yeah, No Child Left Behind actually started fucking us over back then. Because teachers had to teach to the test. If the kids were behind, they were forced to move them up anyway. Because back in my day, as old as I am, a lot of times when kids were behind, they left them in the grade before. But now they say, well, it does psychological damage to a kid to leave them behind or have them repeat classes. I'm going to be honest, I lost so many classes. I got behind in so many classes because I missed like a quarter of every school year in middle school and high school. From being bullied to my bad immune system, which was already showing its face then, I actually missed so much school I was always behind. And I had to repeat classes, not a grade, but I always had to repeat classes. Like, gratefully only a few, but it was always wild to me, the concept that people were like, well, it hurts the kids to have to repeat because that's what I had to do. If I couldn't work my ass off to a certain standard, they weren't letting me go. And then I graduated in 2004. Yeah, I was 19. My mom started me in regular school when I was 6, even though I was in school period since I was 3 years old. Because I went to what's called early childhood. Most disabled kids did, because it helped get us speech therapy or occupational, physical, whatever kind of therapies we needed earlier, because the school system was like early intervention for that. So it's wild to me that they're like, well, we can't have the kids repeat classes and stuff. It's like, yes, you can. And it's wild because a lot of the parents coming up now were failed and pushed through by the same system. So you have students defending these, or parents defending their kids, and you can see where the system failed them as well. It's heartbreaking, kind of. Yeah, now they have, like I said, they have these learning things like Bluebird and stuff where you have a specific curriculum and the teachers can't deviate no matter what. Oh yes, I finally got Overkill. That's a sweet thing. Helps you earn extra money. Okay. I guess I'll give away my wand. That's like the only 0 I have though. Ouch. Give me something good, you bitches. I gave up a lot for that. Okay, let me do this one because that's my 3rd one. Very good. But yeah, telling a teacher that even though it could help their students to not deviate from the curriculum is wild to me. Because if it does address a problem, then it's important. But apparently not important enough. I am not doing well on this bridge. Teachers are stuck between a rock and a hard place. And, you know, with the economy the way it is, parents are more stressed about money and they're having to try to get more jobs to make do. So how are these parents supposed to be in their kids' lives helping with homework and stuff when they're so fucking busy they can't even hardly breathe? I mean, yeah, some parents just let their kids get away with whatever, and some parents don't tell their kids it's important to know how to do anything for reasons and blah blah blah. But barring those people, those special individuals who are, you know, sideswiping their kids' futures, there are a lot of parents who really do want to help, and they either were failed by the system or they don't have time because, again, the system keeps you working as a cog in the machine, but yeah, you're supposed to keep having kids that you can't afford because we need, you know, enough babies for the future and blah 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 blah. It's like, oh, that doesn't work that way though. You can't work people to death and then be like it's your fault when you're not around to teach your kids phonics and everything, and you use the, you know, teachers as glorified babysitters. And it's like, well, honestly, what the fuck else are they supposed to do? They're so busy, or they themselves don't know all this stuff. If I had a kid nowadays, I don't know Common Core. And I will be 1000% with you on that one. I do not know Common Core math. Ow, I'm gonna die. One more hit and we're out. I hope I can do it. But yeah, I don't know Common Core at all. I've seen Common Core math. I know the principles kind of behind it. But if husband and I would have had a kid and they came home with Common Core math, I would be like, yeah, I can't help you there. I can teach you how to do certain things I did as a kid, but I cannot teach you what else to do. It doesn't work that way. I wasn't taught. I can teach you long division with what I know and how I know it, but I can't teach you the way everything is supposed to go according to the new way to learn. Yep, they just killed me, but we got through the tiny bridge. Well, Shelpers, I think that is a great place to leave tonight. And Husby and I decided we're gonna do, like I said, the stream where we finish Zombie Army 4 next week, and then do some of the horde mode or whatever it's called, and then I will be doing this again. Next week is the last stream for Zombie Army, definitely then, because we don't have enough road to stretch it out to another stream. So okay, everyone, I will be back probably on Monday-ish to do that. And I hope you take care of yourselves. I hope you have a great weekend. Let me know if you do anything fun or relaxing. And I will see you soon. Bye.